Hi, I'd like to tell you about my whiteboard. I don't have ADHD. That's what a brain specialist said after I took an entire day of tests with him. More accurately, he said I have a significant and consistent impairment to my executive function, but it didn't impact my baseline functionality quite enough for him to diagnose me with ADHD. Sometimes I say that I have ADH no D, but I suspect it's more accurate to say that I have fairly mild ADHD and am able to bust my brain's ass sometimes when I'm being tested. Regardless, I don't remember things good, and one of the things he did diagnose me with was anxiety, which is worsened when I don't know what my schedule will look like, because one of the other things he diagnosed me with is autism. I've been using a whiteboard to help. This is my system. It's not the only one, it might not be the best for every individual situation, but it has been working for me through a couple of iterations in a couple of years. And if you find yourself struggling to keep your life in check, maybe it can be a source of inspiration. And if not, I will describe it in ways that are interesting and occasionally amusing. There are three basic columns, roughly aligned with the short term, mid-term, and nebulous term. Long term doesn't work for me really, so the third column is ambiguous temporally by design. The columns are further subdivided. In the short term zone, there's dailies, today, tomorrow, and soon. All of these are separated with vinyl strips and labeled with wet erase markers, so I don't need to worry about erasing things super carefully. The strips aren't going anywhere, and the wet erase can resist the occasional eraser. Today is pretty self-explanatory. In a previous iteration, it was further divided into for myself, for my family, for my work, but that was mostly because I was consistently failing to prioritize my own needs, and the empty box illustrated that. That's become less of a problem, so I've done away with it. For now, at least. Now it's just, what am I doing today? Tomorrow is for stuff I need to do, tomorrow. I have that thing where when I realize I need to do something, I instinctively say no. I am resistant to changing my plans, but I have found that tomorrow helps diffuse that. Pharmacy calls and says my meds are ready to be picked up. I cannot bear to go today, so I put it in the tomorrow zone. Tomorrow rolls around, now the pharmacy trip is planned for, and I'm able to overcome that mental barrier and do it. I usually update every night before I go to sleep, porting today's tomorrows into tomorrow's today. Soon is for stuff I want to do, soon, this week or so. It doesn't have any particular time frame on. Stuff that needs a certain vibe or level of energy. Calling the bank, say. So I need to be ready to be on hold for half an hour and then get misgendered on the phone. It's just there, in front of mind, for me to glance at when I pass by, in case I have some time. Although things can languish there, so sometimes a soon needs to be kicked up into a tomorrow. Dailies are the things that I want to do every day. For these, I made these little binary switches with magnets. If I've done the thing, I slide it from X to check mark. Good for remembering basic upkeep. Did I take my antidepressants? Board says AM meds are yes, so yes. I reset these every night. I also have skincare, stretching, PM meds, food tracking, plus a sixth currently unused switch. I want to make updating the board in the moment as painless as possible, so the dailies just slide. Anything on my to-do list that I've to-done can be erased with a finger. When I need to add something, there are markers right there on the board all over the place attached with magnets. Everything gets more space than it strictly needs, so I don't need to squeeze stuff into the margins on busy days. The fewer the barriers, the more likely I will use the damn thing. By this point, you've probably noticed I have multiple colors of marker here. The colors have no meaning whatsoever. I could certainly say that pink is a family task and blue is a work task or whatever, but I won't. It would take too much effort to color code. They have one practical purpose. If I make adjacent things in a list different colors, it's easier to see that they are different. That's mostly useful here in the appointment zone, which I'll talk about momentarily. But honestly, the real purpose is decidedly impractical. Colors are fun. I am slightly more likely to write a thing if I can glance at the markers and grab a pretty color. The goal isn't efficiency, it's consistency. I want to actually use it, and having to decide on the correct color would hamper that effort. It's a hurdle. The midterm column has week, month, and appointments. Appointments is easy. I write appointments there. They're further out than a week or month. Stuff from official sources mostly. Doctor, work event, whatever. Dates that must be concrete. But as soon as possible, I'll port these into month, which keeps the nearest stuff visually present. The month box is the newest addition to the whiteboard system, implemented when my appointments list was getting ungainly and I was accidentally double booking myself. I cannot use an app. I have tried to keep a calendar on my phone, and it just. The effort of opening up and typing things on the tiny keyboard was not huge by any objective margin, but it was enough that I found myself saying that most dreaded of phrases, "Oh, I'll remember." I didn't. I didn't remember. I've tried multiple calendar apps. It never works. I always end up in the I'll remember state. The board has worked. If I make an appointment while I'm away from home, I jot it on a scrap of paper or a post-it and I keep it with me, or I text my wife if she is home and she can write it on my board. Why is texting my wife easier than opening a calendar? I don't know, dog. I don't understand how my brain works. I just do my best to work with it. The week zone has 8 boxes. One is for the weekly equivalent of dailies, for meditating, exercise, and writing, plus a currently unused 4th. Suggestions welcome. These are 3-stage switches for not yet, I did it, and I did it more than once. I'd like to get everything into the plus, but some weeks are better than others. Sometimes stuff doesn't happen. I used to track success weeks where I'd tally whenever I did everything with like a goal of X success weeks and I buy a video game. But that sort of gamification fucks me up real bad, because as soon as I start to fail, I want to quit. So no, I'm just tracking for the intrinsic reward of doing things that make me feel better about myself like a real goober. The individual days have plenty of space to add stuff, but also my schedule is on them in wet erase marker for things that are consistent, like my work schedule or therapy. Here there is an annoyance though. I work a 3-week rotation, where every 3rd Saturday I have to go into work. I also do stuff that alternates bi-weekly, like whether I inject estrogen into my left or right leg. That's what the little doodle on the top is. It alternates L and R and alpha, beta, and gamma to make a little 6-week rotation tracker so I know what's what this week. This is currently a left beta week, which means that Friday is payday and Saturday is free, so that's pretty cool. Last and least is the to-do column, which is stuff to remember. It's nebulous, baby! It has 2 secret functions on display here as well. There are magnets so I can attach documents or coupons or whatever I want to keep an eye on. This here is notes from my surgeon about stuff I need to prepare for. And I have enough room to add extra modules. Right now, there's the tattoo module, where I'm drawing little representations of tattoos I'm thinking about getting. I want all of them. It's also a dumping ground for excess markers and some cool pins that I have magnet backs for. Could I use them functionally, putting the little brain near mental health tasks? Sure. Will I? Hell no. God, I tried bullet journals for a hot minute, and so much of the Bujo culture is about prettifying things in a way I find exhausting, where every page is a tiny work of art that's also functional. And if that works for you, Godspeed. But I work better with nice, tidy rectangles, and the pins are just for pizzazz. They are there to look pretty and get switched out with some of my many, many other pins when I start to get sick of the sight of this whiteboard. Because that's another part of this. It'll fail, inevitably. There will come a point where I stop using it consistently. In the past, that's been solved by iterating. Erase the entire thing and remake it. It's useful because it means I can confront directly whatever aspects led me to stop using it. Too much gamification, too much decision making, not enough space to breathe, whatever. But having a small ability to customize will delay that. Novelty, even tiny pointless novelty, keeps the brain engaged. When in doubt, hint of pizzazz. Honestly, I should get more magnetic pin backs. I have a lot of pins. A few other notes. I have this up on the wall with command strips, specifically the ones with the Velcro style 2-part fastening. I don't have any particular brand allegiance, but these hold well and also let me pop the whole damn thing off the wall when I do decide it's time to reiterate the thing or make a YouTube video about it. Also location. It's on the wall of my bedroom, which is also where my computer is, so I see it frequently, but it's off to the side so it's not constantly in my eye line. Does it work? Well, who can say, right? In the years since I started using it, I've gotten and kept a job where they keep inviting me to take on more hours. That's cool. I think I've forgotten to take my meds twice in the last 2 years, which is distinct from wanted to take them, but I'm being fucked around by my pharmacy. That's cool. Subjectively, I feel more on top of my appointments and my life. On the other hand, I've forgotten people's birthdays twice in the past month, so there's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. But here's where I am now, and it's been working for me. maybe it'll work for you. Or if not, maybe it'll give you some ideas. Because honestly, the strategy is more important than the tactic. That is to say, what matters is taking the time to think about how your brain likes to work and coming up with a method to take advantage of that. I wish you the best of luck finding a system that makes your life better.